Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Halo SPV3? SPV3! Wow, 30 seconds in and I've already borked it. Alright, welcome to Halo SPV3. Probably my favorite mod, if not of all time, definitely of this year. This is super, super cool, and it tries something really ambitious in trying to recapture that magic of playing through Halo for the very first time. Now, it's kind of confusing. A lot of people might look at this just like an update or something that adds new features to the game or updates the textures, things like that. And while it does do those things, that's not what it's really about. That's not what it's for. You'll see more of what I'm talking about here in just a second. This is actually my second attempt recording to this. My recording software totally screwed up the first one. So if I seem a little salty about that, don't mind that. All right, let's go ahead and jump into these things. Now, while we watch this first cutscene here, I want you to kind of take notice of some of these different features, some of the things that have changed over the original cutscene. You'll see a lot of little things, and I'll explain them more, once we're actually done there. I'll try and remain largely quiet during the cutscene, but just keep an eye peeled for all the subtle little changes. And, I'll go ahead and play it on hard, just give myself a bit of a challenge. I know. Normal. I mean, who hasn't beaten the game on Legendary before, so, certainly me, as a 7-year-old, he said, totally knowledgeable of the fact that he never beat the game. Okay. Shut up. You suck at Halo. Alright, I'm gonna go largely quiet here. I may comment on something every so often, but I want to largely leave it to... Oh, look at those textures. I love it! Enjoy the cutscene, guys.
Cortana, all I need to know is, did we lose them?
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind jump. How did they...
Get here first? The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way from Reach, at light speed my maneuvering options were limited.
We were running dark, yes?
Until we decelerated, no one could have missed the hole we tore in subspace. They were waiting for us on the far side of the planet.
So, where do we stand?
Our fighters are mopping up the last of their recon picket now, nothing serious. But I've isolated approach signatures for multiple CCS-class battle groups. Make it 3 capital ships per group. And in about 90 seconds, they'll be all over us.
Well, that's it then. Bring the ship back up to Combat Alert Alpha. I want everyone at their station.
Everyone, sir?
Everyone. And Cortana.
Hmm?
Let's give our old friends a warm welcome.
I've already begun.
You gotta love those 2002 era lip flaps.
Attention,
Your mouth is either open or closed. There is nothing in between.
Platoon, secure airlocks on deck 11. 14th platoon rendezvous with 22nd Tactical at Bulkhead Charlie 14.
You heard the lady. Move like you got a purpose.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
Man, here's where we show those split-chin, squid-head sons of bitches that they could not have picked a worse enemy than the human race. We are going to blow the hell out of those dumb bugs until we don't have anything left to shoot them with. And then we are going to strangle them with their own living guts. Am I right, Marine? Sir, yes, sir! Mm-hmm. Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
Attention all personnel. We are re-engaging the enemy. External and internal contact imminent.
All you greenhorns who wanted to see Covenant up close, this is gonna be your lucky day.
Whoa. Sir? Right. Let's thaw him out. Okay. Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5! Oh god! They're trying to get through
Wow! Okay, so how many changes did you... Oh, Jesus! Oh my god! Okay, so speaking... Oh my god, dude! Relax! So speaking of changes, you may have noticed there are brutes in this one now. They tried to update it so everything is still lore-friendly, but it seems like they added a lot of features that you'll see in the later games as well. You'll see more of that here in just a second. Right now, what I want to cover is some of the things that you saw in that cutscene. Also, they removed some of the tutorializing, assuming that most people have, you know, already played Halo 1, considering it came out, what, 2002? It's like super old now, so most people are probably pretty familiar with how the game plays already. They tried to keep it fresh, but, you know, kind of reminiscent of the older games. So, some of the things you may have noticed. Captain Key's uniform is different, and that is to more closely resemble the uniform he was wearing at the end of Halo Reach when the Pillar of Autumn left Reach with the Master Chief and Cortana in tow. Pretty cool attention to detail. Obviously, textures have been updated. They added ODSTs into the hangar bays there. You see some additional vehicles as well. I think you saw a Hornet, maybe one of the varieties that you see in something like Halo Wars. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'd noticed a Grizzly back there. I want to say that's what it's called. It was one of the super units from Halo Wars. It was like the double-barreled tank of just total hoss bossness. Lots of really cool changes. And then obviously, like I pointed out already, the Brute up there. We'll go ahead and jump into the level a little bit further. I mean, you know, certainly nothing horrible is going to happen to this guy. Oh my god, no one could have predicted that! Wow, what a fresh new experience. You'll see a couple more changes here in a second. My sarcasm is probably not very endearing. I apologize if that's the case. So obviously, like I said before, they updated textures on everybody. They tried to keep it all pretty reminiscent. They added some like border defense turrets here, which I think was a really cool touch at the beginning. They kind of expanded everything a little bit. The AI got some updates. You'll see some new encounters here, as well as expanded maps. Oh no! Wow, who could have seen that coming? Oh geez. Wow, you didn't last nearly as long as I hoped you would have. You see some expanded encounters where they freshen things up a little bit. They actually improve the maps. They add in like new areas to kind of flesh things out, particularly in the Pillar of Autumn, since we come back to this same map in the future, in like the last level of the game with the Maw. They add in some of those areas that you get to go through and kind of see while the Pillar of Autumn is in one piece, and that's really cool, I think. You'll see some updated weapons as well, like what he's shooting right now is actually the Spiker that you see from Halo 3, the Brute weapon, but they update the skin a little bit. I'll pick one up later and kind of show you more about that, but they make it look more like proto-Covenant weapons as opposed to like this weird, like, Brute-y kind of thing that it looks like in Halo 3. And obviously the Master Chief just looks amazing.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driver, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report!
It must have been one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am, fire control for the main cannon is offline!
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right then. I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm gonna try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. The protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research. Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not hope that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yank me.
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
I don't keep it loaded, so you'll have to find ammo as you go.
Alrighty! Now, a couple extra things that you may have noticed. We'll go ahead and take a look around the bridge here. They changed the color scheme. Now, I don't remember their reasoning for doing so, but I have to say, I kind of like the changes. It makes it feel, military, kind of industrial, and really cool. Another thing you might have noticed is the textures on the pistol have been updated as well. You can actually see like little chips and stuff if you look at the back of that front end of the pistol there, which is pretty cool. Now when Captain Keyes, ow, calm yourself, Keyes. When Captain Keyes was punching in the Konami code there to unleash Cortana, you may have noticed her color changed, her textures have been updated as well. So she's less purple, more blue, and they gave her that kind of sleek design that you see in some of the later games as well. It's a really cool compromise between what she used to look like and what she looks like now, and I think that's really neat. Any of you that played Halo 1 will remember the grievously overpowered super duper pistol, and you'll have to pardon my aim. I am playing with a controller.
Marines could use some help, Chief.
Again, the weapons have been updated, so the assault rifle is no longer the super duper bullet hose that it was in the first game with a 60 round magazine capacity that could dump it in about like 0.05 seconds. The rate of fire does increase as you keep firing, so if you kind of want to keep that whole, you know, like super fast firing, just bullet, you know, fire hose kind of effect, you can still kind of get a feeling reminiscent of that, but it's not nearly to the degree that it was. And that has actually been taken over by the SMG, which has been added into the game as well. They added in various other things, like with the plasma rifle there, which I may not actually switch to, because I do really like the pistol. The plasma rifle actually performs worse when it's on low battery. I think the damage is relatively constant, but its rate of fire starts to drop as you start to use up more and more of the battery. Same thing with the plasma pistol. They added in the mechanic that if you keep it charged, it'll constantly drain the battery and it'll perform a little bit worse. This has actually been changed as well. The med packs didn't always look like this. I think this was a texture from Halo 2 that never got used, and they decided to put it in the game as just kind of a neat little cameo, or like a trope, or, you know, just something fun, something kind of cool to add in. And I think it's those little touches that really breathe life into the game. Oh boy, that was bad. Die already! Golly, no one likes your red color. How garish.
What the hell? Did something just hit us? Move in!
Oh man, I sure hope it's not boarders. Now again, you'll see one of these boarding turrets here, which adds kind of a new fun little spin on some of these classic encounters here. So if I run over here, activate the auto turret, it'll now help us out against this boarding party. How cool is that? Like I said, this mod really kind of, you know, its main goal is to freshen up some of those classic encounters that you know and love from Halo 1 while still keeping them, you know, kind of true to form. Keeping it fresh, but, you know, fair.
We go out and
I think that's really cool. I'll go ahead and swap this SMG here just to show you what used to be the assault rifle. I'm sure there's some of you out there that are young enough to have never played the game, so you don't know what the assault rifle used to be, but it is redonkulous. Now, another thing to note as well is they added in gravity terminals, which I think was a really cool choice. It's something that you see in some of the later games, but you never really see in Halo 1. So if this guy were to die, and I won't kill him here, there will be plenty of opportunities to kind of check this out later on, but if this guy were to die, this gravity terminal would be unmanned, and gravity would kind of start to spaz out. It would deactivate at periodic intervals, and you hear this really cool mechanical voice kind of discussing that over the comms, or the radios. And that's really cool. You get a lot of low gravity, your grenades turn into like rockets, and it's awesome. You'll see what I'm talking about here later. Now, another thing they added, obviously, is armor pickups, and that's really, really cool. Now, there's some that you see in later games like Halo 3, Halo Reach, things like that, but they also add in a couple other ones, and I'll show you this one here in just a second. Oh no, an elite! Who could have guessed that would have happened? Oh, I love this gun. I really miss the Halo 1 assault rifle. Now, right now, I don't have an armor mod equipped, so that gives me just my basic flashlight that you see from Halo 1, which is really cool because it's actually mounted on the front of the assault rifle, so when I swing the assault rifle, you see the flashlight go up. If I switch weapons, it does the same thing. There's like different weapon modifications later in the game too, so you'll see suppressors and grenade launchers, things like that. Now, if I pick this up, what's that? VISR, what visor? Is that? Oh, it's the visor from ODST! How cool is that? So you get this really cool, like, area scanning, heads-up display, kind of friend or foe identification, night vision mode, and that's really cool. Go ahead and activate that turret there as well, give us a little hand. Now, I don't necessarily need the visor equipped right now. There will be time to use that later. But you do see a lot of really good... Nope! Ah, okay, all right. Those grenades freaked me out because I had a bunch of really bad encounters with those when I was recording this the first time. So yeah, you'll see a couple other armor mods here, at least in the first level. I think there's like 2 or 3 maybe. But some of them are really cool. Again, they also added in the fact that you can blow the methane tanks off of these grunts. And I've actually seen that happen while they were still alive, too. I shot one off and he slowly suffocated while he was running away. It's the little attention to details that really kind of brings this whole mod to life, and I think that is amazing. Considering this mod took, I think, like 5 years to make, if I'm correct in remembering that. It's really cool. I mean, it's the little things that really, give it life, and I think it was well worth the wait. Now, for any of you that are actually interested in downloading this, it is worth mentioning that the mod is not complete. I think about half of the single-player levels are done. So don't, go through playing it and expect to just play through the game with a brand new experience. It is not finished, but it is still really, really good. And I do believe he is working on the last half as we speak as well. That is just assumption. He's probably taking like a break or something, considering it did take him a very long time to make it this far. Now, something that you may have noticed there is that Elite was holding a plasma pistol, which is something, if I'm not mistaken, you see in the base game. But the AI in this one has been specifically updated to have that be kind of like a specific class of enemy, and their entire job is overcharging that pistol and using it to blow out your shields and then flank you. And that's really cool. You see a lot of like new Elite armor colors and classes. In the first game it was previously just kind of like you got your blue, your red, and your gold, right? Well, they add in like stealth elites, which I know were in the first game as well, and a couple other classes as well that really change up kind of the pace of the combat that you don't really see a whole lot from the first game. And I think that adds a lot of longevity as well. Now, of course, you've still got, you've got grunts that'll, gosh darn it. You've got grunts that'll still, like, overcharge the pistol and everything, like you're probably familiar with. Ow! Health, thank you! Something worth noting as well is when, you heard Cortana say that. Obviously, that was, a clip from the original game. That's nothing new there. Will you just die already? There we go. Good lord. That's a clip from the original game, but they did actually take assets from, this game and subsequent Halo games and add them in, ones that never made it into the game at all. So you get some really unique voice lines from Cortana that you don't actually hear in the normal game. Let's see. My SMG focuses on mostly close-range combat, and I think the battle rifle would probably serve a better role than the assault rifle. Now, obviously, the battle rifle was never in Halo 1. They added that in, as well as a couple cool extra features. So, something I should have mentioned the assault rifle as well is the readout there changes color as you go down in ammo. I think that's a pretty neat little feature there as well. The battle rifle, I think, does the same thing. You'll see that counter tick down. I'm not going to waste ammo just to show you, but if I actually look down the sight, it switches to a single fire mode instead of a burst, so it kind of plays that role of like a low-powered DMR kind of sniper's tool. And when I zoom out, it goes to a 3-round burst. Really cool, huh? I'll go ahead and pick up the health regen. I think that just kind of passively regenerates...
Covenant, on the landing above us.
Health? Yeah, it gives me my flashlight back, so it's not like activatable or anything. Now the DMR is really useful, especially because they added in that kind of combo that you see in the later games. Where you do a burst to the head, blows off their helmet, and then you follow that up with a headshot for like a near instant kill. Pretty cool, huh? Wow, I took a lot of damage there. Also, they've added a couple extra grenade types in. Some of you have noticed that in the original game, oh geez, that's bad. Okay, there we go. the original game only had 2 types of grenades. You had plasma and you had frag, and that was it. This one has added in a couple extras. I'm not sure if it's, you know, from the lore or if it was just their take on something in the later games. I know to kind of fill that gap that you see, ow, jerk, 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 stop it. Stop it, stop it, ow, there we go. To kind of fill that gap that you see in some of the later games with like the Promethean grenades and whatnot that, you know, have that gravity effect to them, you actually do pick up gravity grenades, which I don't have any of at the moment. The Brute grenades from Halo 3, which like shot spikes everywhere, have been replaced by these cluster grenades, which I'll show off right now. And they have that really cool kind of like fuel rod effect, that fuel rod sound effect, I mean. Gosh darn it, quit moving. It's so hard to track a moving target with a controller. I haven't used one of these in so long. Just die. Okay, there we go. So yeah, there's that, obviously, frag, plasma, and then I'll show off those gravity grenades in a little bit. Now, a fun fact for the gravity grenades is I believe, and I think this is how they operate, but they do more damage based on the mass of the enemy trapped in them. So yes, I could, you know, get a whole cluster of grunts kind of stuck together and do some damage on them, but it won't actually do that much more damage. It'd be more effective to use that on like a hunter, or you know, say like a bunch of elites or brutes or something heavy. Yeah, look at that combo. Not bad, not bad. I'm just about out of ammo for the Griff shot, so I may switch that out. I think. Oh no, I already have a battle rifle. Never mind. Go ahead and grab this as well. Here in just a second, you'll see another example of an encounter where they try to change things up just a little bit. Now, everybody knows this encounter. Everybody recognizes this one. There's the elite at the end of the hallway. There used to be some grunts with him. You know, it's pretty standard stuff, right? Oh my goodness, there's invisible elites here? Well, who could have guessed that was gonna happen? And it's not a big change, but I think it's enough to kind of freshen up the encounter and, you know, just keep it interesting, keep it fun. You know, kind of update it a little bit in a way that's maybe not like super duper necessary, but I think it adds. What are you doing? Adds to the game in a unique and interesting way that you don't really see elsewhere. Stop that. There we go. Another fun thing to note is I don't believe they actually had this model of elite in the first game. These guys were introduced in Halo 2 and Halo 3 as kind of like the jetpack dudes and the stealth dudes and all that. And I think that's kind of a cool addition, just to kind of separate them from the normal elites there. I could be totally wrong, honestly. I'm talking out my butt for most of this. I don't actually remember Halo 1 that well, even though I did play the Anniversary Edition. Oops, wrong way. See, proof is in the pudding right there. I don't actually know where I'm going. Get some visor mode up in here. Not that it's necessary, but it is kind of cool, I have to say. That was one of my favorite aspects of ODST.
I'm detecting Covenant movement outside the access ways. We're too close. We need to find another route.
Thank you, Cortana. And of course, they kept in this fun little encounter where you get to bash open the door. You know, it seems a fitting introduction to the stealth mechanics of the game. I say stealth mechanics, quote unquote stealth. Oh, now this is a fun little weapon right here. Now it looks a lot like the Needler, and that's because it's kind of proto-Covenant tech. I like to think that this was maybe the great granddaddy of the Needler. This is the Brute spike rifle, or the spiker, I should say. I don't think it's a spike rifle. Get some cluster grenades. I'll show it off here in just a second, but it is very direct fire. It doesn't have any seeking, but oh crap, that's bad. Ow! Run, 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 run. What I was trying to show off there and failed to do is that enemies will still explode. Yeah, there you go. That's a gravity grenade. I don't know if you noticed there in the back as well. Ooh, that seems maybe like a glitch or something. This guy exploded when I shot him with enough spikes. So it still kind of has that same Needler feel to it, but updated a little bit. It feels very visceral. I think it was a good change over the Spiker, which seemed kind of bare bones to me in Halo 3. I honestly think this is a better variant. Yes, I love it. Now I'm running a little low on ammo with this one, so I'll show off the Brute Plasma Rifle, again from Halo 3. Now, something that the mod creators, and again, this is me just kind of talking out my butt here, this is just from me watching a couple of their videos, something that they strived really hard to do is kind of keep each weapon with its own role. So, you know, obviously plasma weapons are better at taking out shields than human weapons, but human weapons are better at taking out unarmored opponents. Or, I'm sorry, unshielded opponents. The proof is in... Oh, my goodness. Oh, good! Oh, good! Good example of, like, the gravity failing here. So, you know, I obviously drop a little bit slower. That guy just sailed through the air a little bit. If I were to throw a grenade, it would go in almost a completely straight arc.
It looks like the Covenant
makes,
wanted to catch
you know,
you napping.
detonating grenades very difficult. So if I shoot this guy with the brute shot here, or the griff shot... oh, God, is he behind me? Oh, jeez! Wow, sneaky little cuss. Oh, I thought I checked that area, too. Well, I was gonna say, if I shoot him with the brute shot, then you see a good example of it in launching him into the air. It adds kind of like this, this tactical element to the game of, you know, like being able to launch my opponents out from behind cover, or maybe make jumps that would normally hurt me, different things like that.
Ask yourself this question. Is what I'm doing right now helping Cortana from blowing into tiny, tiny bits?
Ah, that's one of those voice lines that wasn't in the game previously. That's pretty cool, right? Something I know they tried to update here as well was like the aesthetics of the burnt portion of the ship, trying to make it look like it'd really been melted and kind of slagged. All sorts of really, really cool stuff. I totally don't remember what I was talking about earlier, so you'll have to pardon my incompetence in not finishing a thought. Again, I don't think there was an elite there originally. I want to say it was just like grunts and stuff, but I think it's a pretty cool encounter that they updated. You know, little things just kind of keep you on your toes that you'll see a lot more of as we go on too. Like once we actually get down to the surface of Halo, you see a lot more flora and fauna that weren't in the game previously. They expand the area. And speaking of expanded areas, I'm about to head into one right now. So I think that's actually a pretty good place to end this episode. If you guys are enjoying this, please let me know in the comment section down below. I am really, really enjoying this mod, and super duper duper props to the creators. I think that's Master133 or Masters1337. Cortana, quiet. I'm trying to talk to people.
The Autumn can take.
Definitely show them some love. Honestly, it's so good. It's so good. I highly recommend playing it to anybody that loves Halo. I mean, I cut my teeth on Halo. That's where I got my original gamer cred. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll show you this new area next time.